and welcome back to Pokemon Creation Series. Today's Pokemon team comes to us from Daniel F., who asked the question, who would win? What is Doomguy / Doomslayer? So it's the same character, Pokemon team. So this was one of those unfortunate things where there's only so much I can take of the lore to look for a specific Mon that makes sense, because it's not a character who has a very in-depth personality. It's not a character who has so many facets, likes, dislikes, all that. It's a character who is hell-bent on rage, taking on the forces of hell multiple times, and only has a few minor character tropes that I can really... character facets that I can really draw upon for specific Mon. So this is one of those teams where I chose the team, I'm content with the team, but if someone has a different idea for the team, I am more than willing to hear it. So with that said, first Mon on team, I knew I needed the big one. I knew I needed the bunny, the rabbit, the Pokemon that represented the loss of his pet rabbit and that he went to hell and back to avenge and get it back. So there are only a handful. It actually is very amazing that there are only so few rabbit Pokemon out there. You have the Baneri Lopunny line, you have the Scorbunny line, and you have the Bunnelby and Diggersby line. And that's it. Like, I had to think, like, is there any other rabbits out there? But no, there are no other rabbit-type Pokemon as far as I could think of. So, unless there's a Pokemon that has some inspiration from a rabbit that isn't. So I'm like, okay, among those, what makes the most sense? Well, the Bunnelby line was definitely out. It doesn't really strike me as, my bunny. It doesn't strike me as that. That left Bunneri and Scorbunny. And for me, it really came to Baneri. Baneri is like the quintessential cute little bunny rabbit. That's what it is. It just, Scorbunny is too friendly, sportsy, fiery. It just didn't add up. I think Baneri, it also would make the most sense to see this dude right here have this adorable little Pokemon on his team. After that, we start to get into some difficulties here. Now, one of the things that he did acquire is apparently the ability to gain strength by absorbing the souls of the demons he defeated. So he has multiple souls in him. I mean, he has his own primary soul, obviously. But in terms of the ability to like absorb souls in him and have the power of multiple souls coursing through his body, there was a Mon for that. And that Mon was Spiritomb, because we know Spiritomb is about, I believe, 104 different souls that make up this one Pokemon. So this made sense. And this actually also went to the main theme I was going for this team. Now, Spiritomb is a dark ghost type. The only dark ghost type, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's the only dark ghost type. To the best I know, yeah, it's the only dark ghost type to date, as far as I remember. And the thing about Doomguy is that I think for Pokemon on his team, if he were to go to the Pokemon equivalent of Hell, or fight the Pokemon equivalent of Hell, that you would be needing a team that would be dealing with Hell-based Pokemon of some kind, no matter if they're like just spirits or whatever. And when you think of Hell, you would think fire, brimstone, all of that kind of stuff, and demons and whatnot. And there are only a couple types that really fit that ideology in Pokemon for a Hell. Dark would be one of them. Dark is considered the evil type. Ghosts would be another. Ghosts are spirits. You could also make the argument of fire, but that doesn't seem to always show up as predominantly in the Doom franchise, like fire and hell and brimstone, as much as I think other depictions of hell do, at least from my vague memory of the series. I'm sure it shows up, just I don't think fire... I mean, you could probably add fire in there. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with adding fire in there, but I didn't factor it in for this. Plus, I just didn't think it added up altogether anyway. So I looked at those types. I'm like, okay, what is the collective weaknesses of all these types? With Ghost, it's Dark and Ghost. With Dark types, it's Fairy, Fighting, and Bug. So like, okay, I have 5 different choices here to choose from in terms of Mon to deal with. Now, of the remaining 4, none of them turned out to be Fairy types. Only one turned out to be a Bug type. 3 turned out to be a Two turned out to be a fighting type. Only one turned out to be a dark type, and only one turned out to be a ghost type. So let's talk about the ghost type first. This also goes to the whole concept of swallowing and eating souls for whatever reason it may be. And that went to, let's try that again. It always does this now. That went to Gengar. I feel like it's the quintessential ghost Pokemon. It's one that Doomguy probably would use effectively. Poisoning effects exist very much in Doom, so he could use Gengar's poisoning effect. I did not want to use anything that was based off a weapon. A, because most of the weapons just can't have Pokemon equivalents. They just don't work that way. And B, it'd then be down to what Pokemon am I choosing based on what weapon. Like, there's no BFG equivalent in Pokemon. The best you could look for is maybe an attack that mirrors the effect of the weapon, but then you get the Unmaker. The BFG was just a giant energy blast. I just didn't feel like it worked out very well. Then I just went with the next one on the list, which is Heracross. It's a bug fighting type. It is one of the better fighting types out there. It's only a single stage, but it has a Mega Evolution. At any point in time, you could ask Arger, does he have Mega Evolutions on this team? And my ultimate answer would be, I don't see, the only one I could see him really bonding with for the Mega Evolution in lore would be his Lopunny. And there is or his Baneri. And there is a Mega Lopunny out there. There is a Mega Lopunny. But he has a Baneri in this case because it's more cute and less sexual. So I don't think he would have a Mega Evolution with these guys. I think these would be his team for going down and, wreaking havoc. Then on the other fighting side of the field, I chose Chesnaught. There he is, Chesnaught. And the reason I chose Chesnaught, actually, is due to the fact that, and I'm just going to move you down here, is due to the fact that it basically, whoops, went a little too far on that, because this new thing is not as good as the original. The reason I chose Chesnaught over some other fighting types comes down to it is a paladin. It's wearing it's not a grass steel type, unfortunately, or a fighting steel type. It's a grass fighting type, but it's wearing armor. So, what is Doomguy wearing? What Doomslayer wearing but armor? Add on the fact you can learn some pretty powerful attacks, and there you go. The last Mon I put on the team has the dark type with it, and this is the Mon I think can truly represent his rampage through hell, him just demolishing the forces of hell at his leisure, at his will. And that is Hydreigon. This, I think, would be like his, despite Baneri being his tried and true favorite, this would be his ace in the hole. This would be I am going to go whole hog destruction on your asses, Mon. And I think it fits his just unbridled rage very well. And the fact that he is just going to wreck shop. Hydreigons are, massively powerful Pokemon, so they are designed to more or less wreck shop. So I feel like this is actually a solid Mon to have on the team. How does that balance the team out, though? Well, you have a normal type, which is weak to fighting, and is only really weak to fighting. But has immunity to ghost. There is the Hydreigon's dragon type negates a bit of the weakness to fighting, so that's okay. You got the dragon type there, which is weak to unfortunately, Hydreigon is quad weak to fairy and still weak to ice. Spiritomb is also weak to fairy. Then you got Heracross, which has all the weaknesses, unfortunately, of fighting, which I believe includes psychic, and fairy, and flying. Now the psychic is mitigated a little bit by the bug, but unfortunately, I think bug is quad weak to not quad is times 2 weak to flying, if I'm not mistaken. It would make sense. Birds eat bugs, so it would make logical sense that the bug type is weak to fairy. 1 second here. Bug is where are you flying? Yeah, bug is weak to flying. So actually, Heracross is quad weak to flying. Gengar is still weak to dark. It's also weak to the weaknesses of poison, which would be psychic, and ground, and steel. So yeah. Then you got Chesnaught, who isn't quad weak to anything. Luckily, still has the fairy weakness, still has the psychic weakness, still has the quad weak to flying. And then you have Spiritomb, which is really only weak to fairy. So, yeah, this team actually could get a sufficiently powerful flying fairy type could really wreck shop on this team. And even if Gengar were to come in and take it down, it probably would take out a couple powerful individuals on that team. So if this team ever went up, weirdly enough, against let's find some flying fairies here. If this team went up against, say, I think a Togetic and Togekiss, for example, that would pose a pretty big problem for them. Add on, AZ's, AZ's Floette apparently is, I didn't know that AZ's Floette was fairy flying. Interesting. Maybe it's the idea of it's floating on the wind. I did not know that. That's actually kind of interesting. But other than that, do we have any other fairy? Enamorus. I know Enamorus is fairy flying, so there's that. So yeah, it's not the most unbalanced team. It's definitely like a powerhouse team. Even the Baneri could come in with like some Endeavors or something like that. But yeah, that is Doom Guy / Doom Slayer's team. Let me know in the comments below if you like it. Do you like this team, or do you disagree with the team? What would you do for the team if you would do anything different? Let me know. And would you change up the bunny part? We know the rabbit has to be on the team, folks. That's the only one I think we can all agree it has to be on the team. But what else would you put on the team if you put anything on the team? Let me know in the comments below. Till then, thanks for watching. I got to do box office, and I got to do my what if for the day, and then I'm done for the day. Normally, I'd pre-record my who would win, but I only got the one who would win tomorrow. So I only got one video, so I can actually kind of take it easy. And I'll pre-record for Tuesday, but that's about it. So until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.